Oh boy, I hope you guys are ready to have a drink to this video and some snacks, because I've been planning to make this video for an absolutely fucking long time. I really wanted to make this video for so long, I just haven't gotten around to doing so because I've been trying to put the right words in the right sequence. It's... Hell, I even made a script for this video so I won't fuck up and regret about forgetting some critical points in this video. So probably for a while you guys know I'm a big atheist and always will be, and I have a fuck ton to say about this video, so much I probably will have 3-parters to this video, just like my Spread the Word Tender Word video. First, I'm gonna go through the story of what led me to become an atheist, what inspired me to become an atheist, and just how much I have strongly changed from 2014 to now. A lot of people who followed religion have severely boiled my fucking blood to the point where my ass gets chapped 1,000 shades of red before 2014. The stories of religions and scientifically proven facts in history has always confused me, but I'll get to that later. I've lost a lot of friends to this topic as well, but that's okay. I only stuck with my true and real friends. Not the fair weather ones. So anyways, let's get started with the story and the origins of my atheism and how it began. Let's just say it started off around 2013, where I came out of the closet as a brony and was hoping I wouldn't get too shot down for being one, and I was told all my life, treat people the way you wanted to be treated. It's better to accept people for who they are than who you want them to be, by my mom and dad. Back in 2012, before I became a brony in September 2012. I always had, and I was thinking to myself, how bad could I be when I don't hate or disrespect people the way they were born, as long as it's not discrimination, terrorism, crime, pedophilia, and whatnot. Do what makes you happy. And at times, someone, of course, discovers that I'm one, they get on me like flies to shit. Now, does that sound familiar? Yeah. That's exactly what happens to gay people when they're around religious bigots or religious extremists. Except that there's no physical violence towards me, nor discrimination towards me. That also can happen to special needs kids that have disorders such as autism, cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, Asperger's, learning disability, which is what I have, by the way, and so much more. This world has been discriminating people who are different than the supposed normal people since forever ago. It unfortunately will probably never stop, but we can possibly largely reduce it. Then fast forward to 2013, where some people found out that I had the acknowledgement of that people were born gay, and then what happened? I was ridiculed for months and months and months and months about it. Everywhere on social media, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, even PlayStation Network, about how ridiculous I sound. And usually the people that think you sound ridiculous or stupid for saying that people are born gay are the same people that believe in a talking snake and Jesus walking on water. And that sin was brought into the world because someone decided to eat an apple. Such hypocrisy, right? If people are gonna be assholes to innocent people that have done nothing to them, then I'm not gonna be nice back. Plain and simple. What comes around, goes around. Just like the lyrics in the song Round and Round by Rat. Round and round, what comes around goes around, I'll tell you why. Yeah. And all of you obviously know by now that I despise it when people get dehumanized by other people, just because those people are either different than them or because their so-called lifestyles are against their shitty ideology. As spoken in my thoughts on the R-word videos, links up here. I know I may talk a lot of shit that's rather outdated, but I still feel like I need to get my word and story out there on YouTube. And get that shit off my chest to the people that need to understand where I'm coming from for when I became an atheist and why I became an atheist. I'm never going to keep my opinions to myself because that otherwise can be just unhealthy to hold everything in. Catharsis is an amazing thing because it gets the shit off my chest and makes me think about it less. The purpose of this video is not to beat a dead horse. The purpose of this video is to tell my side of a story and my reasons why a lot of religious claims and justifications a lot of bigots or extremists tend to make to justify their stupidity. Because if you're watching this video and if I've ever had an argument with you, if you're a best friend of mine that I had an argument with that related to this topic, please listen to me and to any best friend of mine that still slightly doesn't understand, or anybody that doesn't understand at all, please listen to this video. I can't stress that enough. Now, I'm not saying all Christians or religious people in general are stupid. Hell, a lot of them tend to agree with me on several arguments I make against conservatives. I'm not saying you have to agree with me on everything to love me, but if you're discriminating against someone based on your faith or because they're different than you, then I'm never going to respect you one bit. I, around 2014, tried to be a more respective person to a lot of people, but I would get shot down on social media such as Facebook and YouTube, as mentioned earlier, when I openly say that people are born gay. I know I've had those debates with 2 to 3 of my close friends, but I don't want to get too in depth with those because I feel bad that I have to keep bringing up terrible stories as I did in my League video the other day. And I don't want to keep dragging this on when I'm clearly cool with those people by now, well, except for one or two people by now that they still hang out with. The start of my atheism began way back in 2014, where I made a post standing against homophobia, saying that if people choose to be gay, then that's the same thing as saying autism, skin color, Down syndrome, being an animal, etc. is a choice, because saying that homosexuality is a choice is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my entire life, if not the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Especially considering when it comes from the same people that rely on stupid fucking ideologies that do not have any scientific proof whatsoever. But I'll get to that soon. But homosexuality, on the other hand, revolves around a lot of scientific research, as well as autism, Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, etc. As some people went to my house the other day to do some blood test on my brother and parents, since my brother has autism, in case you didn't know, but they skipped me since I didn't have autism. But I'm not going to get too off topic. I apologize for that. While the whole God ideology revolves around a book saying that he exists because it says so here, later on that night I posted that status, well, early morning at 4 a.m. on vacation, actually. I got shitted on by 2 people. One person I didn't really consider a friend in the first place, and one I considered a friend since 2011. Then they were saying that people are not born gay, and that God made men, and God made men for women, and all that other faith that choose to believe in faith kind of shit. And I got another comment from a guy saying God gave men free will and men chose to sinful. People are not born gay. Yeah, even though the fucking Bible tells that people, we all live in sin anyway. And you want to know something else? Many of the followers of God, mostly conservative, would contradict themselves by saying that homosexuality is unnatural. It's like they try to find a reason to bash on homosexuality. That shit is oxymoronic as hell. But then again, the Bible always contradicts itself, just like a lot of anti-gays and religious extremists do. But I'll get to the contradictions of the Bible later in another video of mine. When I encountered so many people giving me shit on social media about how nobody is born gay, I thought to myself, what the hell is this shit? I gave people my fair respect, and they shot me down? The fuck? also biggest. What's more disgraceful than marriage? Gay people marrying? Or at least 50% of the Americans' straight marriages, America's straight marriages, getting divorced, or better yet, a woman divorcing her husband just because the husband didn't like Frozen. What the fuck? Did a gay person never do that? No! How about this? What has a better influence? Straight religious parents that fight a lot and abuse their children, or gay-loving couples loving their children to death and not in any way, shape, or form abusing them? How about this? Tell me a list of lovable marriages and tell me where gay people rank on that list. Yeah, that's totally a lovely marriage. Divorcing your husband just because your husband didn't like Frozen. Fucking idiot. Oh yeah, by the way, I almost never hear stories about gay people cheating on their husbands or lesbians cheating on their wives. I'm not saying being gay or lesbian makes you good or bad, but just think about that for a while. Ever heard of that? I'll get to more about that later. Rewind pre-2013. 2007 is where I first heard about the whole ideology of God, but 2005 is where I first heard about Jesus. Luckily, my parents weren't too religious at all. My dad was agnostic and my mom was Christian, but she didn't really believe in all that hell or sinful nonsense. I asked them what's hell, and they said it's a place where bad people go, such as criminals, people that committed genocide, rape, molestation, rape, a lot of extreme forms of torture, etc. They never consider homosexuality sinful either, which is part of why I never thought homosexuality was considered sinful by Christians in the first place. The thing is, I was raised to treat people like my brothers and sisters and not judge them for what their tastes are or the way they were born. I thought myself many times that I would go to hell if I didn't respect people the way they were born, but apparently if you're not straight, it's a sin according to conservative Christians. That is downright ludicrous and stupid as fuck. Before I became an atheist, I at times fear I would go to hell for not doing things that would make God angry. I'm not talking about death threats, bullying, or shit like that. I'm talking about Facebook posts that say, like for Jesus, ignore for Satan, and if I didn't like for Jesus, I would go to hell, yada yada yada. And if I didn't click the like button on any of those posts, I would go to hell, and if I didn't give any form of feedback on those posts, I would go to hell. I always had that stupid mindset of mine. Yeah, I know it was stupid, but I grew out of that, yada yada yada. Sometimes when I felt like I was making God angry, I would try to be good so I won't supposedly go to hell. As I said earlier that I wasn't going to mention the arguments I've had with my friends about this topic, but I will save this. There was so much heated fighting back in the end of the July and the beginning of August 2014. Sorry, I tripped over my own words there for a minute. It wasn't just about homosexuality either, but several other irrelevant and pointless shit that I never should have been in the first place. But then again, it foreshadowed my atheism. Nonetheless, there was a point where I got angered to the point where I say shit that I never, ever wanted to say, such as the word retarded, and I know I said I cut the word out of my vocabulary in 2012, that there were, oh my fucking god, there were times in 2014 where I get so angry, I would say, to let out over the top insane irritation and anger fueling within myself. I was fucking sick to death of my name being handcuffed to hate. Absolutely fucking tired as hell of being handcuffed to hateful horse shit. In other words, being angered to the point of saying regretful garbage. And with all those news about religious parents kicking and or killing their own children because of their religion, It pissed me the fuck off even more. Because I always thought about having children one day, and I would never, ever, ever kick them out or abuse them because of my so-called religion. Putting your fucking religion before your children is the dumbest fucking thing to ever do. Fucking pissed me off. It made me sick too. I almost barfed my kidneys out when I read those stories. God! I wanted to be a more respectable and acceptable person by using respectful language that would not target specific people and have critical thinking to the point where I wouldn't need a fucking book telling me what to do or say and rely and provide my reasons and logic with science and reasonable evidence. I heard from many Christians admit themselves that they were afraid of going to hell by saying specific things and shit, which is probably why they think homosexuality is a sin, just to follow the Bible as much as they can. Then again, they take the Bible literally all the time. A lot of people and scientists being ridiculed for providing evidence for the Big Bang and evolution and the genetics of people being born gay, and with all those Christians protesting those scientists and calling me the delusional one when they believe in a talking snake, Jesus walking on water, when there's absolutely no evidence of those things whatsoever. That's where the straw broke the camel's back, and especially when a lot of gay people died in a hate crime. And I didn't put the straw there, so I don't want you PETA nutjobs telling me I'm a camel abuser. But it absolutely was the fucking straw that broke the camel's back. And in fact, it didn't just break its back. It forced him into the ground so far he burned out into the fucking magma. I looked at myself to see what I needed to change about myself and what was wrong with me. I felt regretful that I used the R word and all the other terrible things I've said to some of my friends. What were those things? Some things are just better left unsaid. So I stopped being a Christian and became an atheist in early 2015 in January, and I felt like a free thinker, that I didn't need to be scared of hell if I'm bad, or that I'm prepared to heaven if I'm good, and all that other shit. I feel like being good is the right thing to do, regardless if there's a heaven or hell or not. This supposed God miserably failed to give me evidence of why he exists. Why can't he just show himself already if he exists? And for real this time, not through fucking little kids or visit him in heaven, or through toast and clouds and a shitty diaper. I kid you fucking not. Some Christian parent the other day on some sort of social media tried to give evidence of God based on the shape of a cross in a baby's shitty diaper. No joke. Like here. Funny too, because religion's full of shit, just like a diaper. How so ironic. And of course, all my life in school, I was taught science a lot from kindergarten to senior year. The evidence of the Big Bang, evolution, global warming, etc. was severely overwhelming. You know there's links in the description, and the Google engine exists. You don't have to watch this video to be educated on science. I'm not saying get a degree in college, but do your research on science. Pick up a book. Educate yourself. Pick up a book that's not the Bible and provide evidence. The thing is, scientists read more than even 100 books, and they feel like they still have a lot to learn. And with conservative or extremist religious people, they read one book and think they know everything about the universe. I'm not saying not all of them are like this, so do not say that I'm generalizing. The more I learn about the fun facts on science, aka the real world, the less reason I have to believe in God. From 2007 to early 2014, there was a time where I thought both God and science were true. Some said God created the world, and said, some said and provided evidence that the Big Bang created the world and that the collision of Earth and Theia is what gave birth to the moon. There's a link down in the description below. And when you collaborate science with religion, it's going to hurt your brain, because science cannot collaborate with religion, because faith is only an optional thing. You can believe it if you want. It's only true if it's in your head. And I'm choosing not to believe in any kind of fairy tales like that, because it's only true if you believe in it. Well, science, on the other hand, it's true whether you believe it or not, so that's why I'm going with science. It's not a belief system, it's just true based on actual evidence that scientists did their research on, other than a holy book and whatnot. It doesn't work if you collaborate science with religion, like I said. And it especially didn't work with me, since my dad told me it's only about faith when it comes to that God, Jesus, heaven, and hell stuff. Meaning you can only believe it if you want. It only exists within your mind, is what he said, I think, back in 2008 when I questioned it. But I'll get to that stuff later in the debunks on the claims or the flack, which I will get into my next video on this topic. And before I wrap up this video, you conservative morons have no room to say that homosexuality is sinful, or that atheists and gay people are going to hell. Because what if you die and find out that the Christian God was wrong and the Hindus were right? Christianity, Hinduism, Buddhism, Judaism, Islam, they all have one thing in common, and they have a book relied on faith and fairy tales. They're all the same shit. And if you die, you're in the same boat as the gay people and atheists. So you, as the other religions that aren't Christianity. So if you die in the other religions, you're pretty much screwed. And if I die, and if the Christian God is really true, boy, do I have a lot of questions for him, and boy, does he have a lot to answer, because I have a lot of rational questions to ask God when I die. When I do die, I definitely have a lot to ask him. Just know that you throw shit at my face saying that homosexuality is sinful and that it's a choice, when yet you're exactly as sinful as gay people and as sinful as atheists in every other religion that exists. There are thousands of gods and religions you don't believe in. What makes yours any different? And don't say tradition. I know it sucks that I'm an atheist due to people using their faith that has no evidence to be true to justify bigotry, bullying, but I do. And I'm not going to part myself into something that I don't feel passionate or genuine about. So that's the story of how I became an atheist. There will be 2 more videos on this topic, such as debunking the flack and my questions for believers, later on. Stay tuned. And space out. After you're finished watching this video, please be rational. I can't stress that enough. And to avoid rambling on, goodbye.